All right. So hello, and greetings to those of you who are not familiar. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module, and we're just going to get underway here. Previously, we just finished all 3 chapters of Vader Immortal, and then started into Cosmodread. Hang on for a sec. It looks like the feed's frozen on air receiver. I'm going to try and disconnect and then reconnect the air receiver. Oh, there we go. All right. So, Shadowpoint, we'll be playing a bit of that earlier, I hope. I've heard that's a bit puzzly, and so it'll be a nice change to my processors from the usual slew of being shot, or running away from things, or running straight at things that are shooting me. Excellent, and thanks to everybody who's joined me here. I appreciate you all being here and adding to my collective processing power. For those who aren't familiar with Cosmodread, and yes, I fixed the motion so we're not just jumping. Cosmodread is a procedurally generated game in the same sort of vein as a roguelike of Dead Space. So we'll have our readout here on our wrist of our health, oxygen, and minimap. And I realize that that blueprint we picked up for the shotgun last time actually carries over. So discovering things does seem to carry over. Starting weapon random, that's the default. I don't know actually what other weapons are available. Excellent. Our objective here on the Nectaris is to board the ship and reactivate it and bring it home. We'll see how effective that happens to be. I always feel like as we're running around the ship and doing tasks, I feel like we're almost in the wake of another existing game where tasks weren't completed in an appropriate amount of time. To those of you who are wondering why I have to monitor my oxygen despite being an predominantly inorganic life form, it's actually a little bit of a quirk of my design. This unit does require a marginal amount of oxygen to facilitate directive number 1, which is a hidden directive. Just one of the standard things that I have to abide by. This unit, while it does have a fairly sturdy titanium laminated Kevlar chassis, does require marginal amounts of oxygen and chemical nutrients to operate. Go. Excellent. So we've learned previously that these items that are otherwise organic junk are important in regards to, we're running out of oxygen already. They are important in regards to being able to put in a material disassembler. Oh my. And use for spare resources. Okay. This hallway continues to sound wonderfully organic and squishy. I believe we've actually found the courtyard straight away. And that is something else we've found. There are a few somethings. So I'm actually going to navigate away from the courtyard for the time being. Let's just close that door and turn around. That also does not sound terribly friendly. Ooh. Um, there was probably something a little bit more completely organic at some point in time. Oh. I didn't realize, but it seems like organic matter actually spreads. So, whatever is contaminating these hallways grows. I think unless we light up the area. Our inventory is nearly full, so I will leave that as is. Hopefully, I'm more organic hallway. No power modules. I think I'm going to shut this and hope that that's going to stop the organic material from spreading to this room. This room appears to be in a terrible state of disarray. What do we have here? Railgun energy pack. Don't have a railgun, but extra crossbow bolts handy, and the book we can return for later. Interesting. I wonder if the game's generated access to that room down there. And it sounds squishy here too. That's lovely. Alright. Doesn't appear that there are any other mobile creatures. And unfortunately, there continues to be a distinct lack of power units. What this suggests to me, unfortunately, is that we may have to retrace our steps through the courtyard and brave whatever those things were. If we're unlucky, they're probably human. A pocket calculator. I feel like that's a slightly more... Electronics are a slightly more rare resource. Come, my little unsophisticated brother. And oxygen. Perfect. We'll utilize that now. And this room, flush with resources and organic matter, we'll return to. It does appear, actually, that closing these doors stops the spread of organic matter between rooms. No other cabinets or anything else that could contain a power unit. No power units that we might appropriate from the walls. That's our starting area. Perhaps they're friendly. Greetings. I am JL-33. Human interface module. Oh my. You appear to not be human at all. Don't come any closer. I do not wish to harm you. However, I must facilitate Directive 1, Hidden Directive. Oh my. Now would be a lovely time to know, there we go, how to put more crossbow bolts in the crossbow.
Attention, an emergency has been reported. Please follow the instructions of the security personnel and proceed to your designated safe area.
I don't understand how to operate this unit. Perhaps I have to fire off the last bolt first. I don't have ammunition in the inventory, so I can just... There we go. Ah, you appear to be another of the same creature. So, unfortunately, I prioritized my survival over yours. Lovely. Unsightly. And we're nearly out of crossbow bolts at this point. So, let us hope that that is all of the creatures that were patrolling this area. Excellent. The fabricator, material disassembler. Closed doors, closed doors. What is this? A noisemaker. Plays a noise that can attract nearby creatures. Interesting. No, evidently not. Although perhaps they are trying to engage in a more tactile language. However, if that's the case, I don't particularly wish to converse. Okay, so no other resources at our disposal. Going to have to continue on. Going to quickly check this area. Oh, it's lit. Poorly. 3 charges. What a pleasant surprise. And another light unit. Well, that might be the problem. We might have to return to investigate that later. Doesn't appear that there are any major resources in this room, actually. Oh, more crossbow bolts. A welcome discovery. Item capacity 10. Jar of food. We'll set that to the side. I do require some organic material, and the quantity of chemical nutrition I require is not terribly high. All right. So, as there are a few resources here that we can't find elsewhere, except for the power unit, I'm going to take the power from here and return to the courtyard and hope that the open portion of the ship isn't going to let anything in. I'll return to explore that hallway momentarily. Hopefully, nothing else has... Oh. Goodbye. This is a conundrum. There is far more mouth on this creature than I'm comfortable with. Hopefully there's only the one this time. Nope, that's not the case. It seems to be attracted by the light. Perhaps if I turn the light off? Nope, the light had nothing to do with it. I want that light back on. That's not good. Where was that device that attracted creatures? Jar of food. It's not attracted by sound.
Deployment of automatic defense systems has been authorized. Be sure to always remain inside the area allowed by your security credentials.
One last desperate gambit. I feel like if this unit... Oh my! I feel like if we're going to be terminated, we should at least see what's happening. Oopsies. Okay. Interesting. This organic material seems to dissipate in the light. Oh my. Excuse me, I would rather not make your acquaintance. Oh, sweet mercy. Oh, thank the maker. Oh. Are you friendly? Greetings. Oh. Please desist. I appear to have been terminated. Well, that was less than fruitful. We have, however, encountered far more life, both organic and otherwise, that we have in previous excursions. So I'll call that progress at least. Security drones are vulnerable to EM pulses. So am I. Damage dealt. Portion of the ship explored. Very interesting. So certainly the ship looks like it's a lot bigger than I gave it credit for. Start boarding procedure. We'll try again. Hoping to salvage the MCS Nectaris. And low gravity boots. Increased speed. No weapons will spawn on the map. No, thank you. Certainly defending myself is a priority. It's an integral part of Directive 2, Hidden Directive, which is a subset of Directive 1, Hidden Directive. I don't know who programmed these docking procedures, but certainly they have a terrible mind for subtlety. Alright, we'll give this another go. Well, I mean, evidently, those are the most appropriate docking procedures for a ship that's not built with a dock. Crossbow. Crossbow bolts. Our inventory capacity is 6 this time versus the 9 it was regularly. I think that's the sacrifice we pay for having increased speed. Given our last series of encounters, I'm, however, a large fan of the increased speed. Is there anything else useful? No? I will come back for the oxygen later if we need it. That hallway with a power unit. Is that the courtyard already? No? Okay. Well, let's have a look-see at what's behind this door. Interfacing with lever. Oh, there's the courtyard. This seems to be far more fortuitous than usual. And I don't think that there's anything else that we need raw materials for. So I'm immediately just going to preemptively toss in things into the material compiler. Hopefully that way it'll free up some space in our inventory. Oh. Greetings. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module. We're currently exploring the MCS Nectaris in hopes of returning it to Earth. The ship has been abandoned and derelict. The circumstances are yet unknown. However, in past ventures, we've encountered several life forms that I would term less than human. A designation that I don't hand out lightly. Goodbye. We'll come back to that one later, perhaps. That would appear to be the room we were in before. Was the creature? I don't need that yet. I will deem that a valuable resource, however. And leave the mug. Goodbye, mug. I can hear the creature striking that door. Interesting. A data card. I don't recall if we... Oh. We'll get rid of the food. Store the data card for now. More crossbow ammunition. Pistol ammunition. And a circuit board. Interesting. What do we have here? Scrap metal. And this appears to be a room that we haven't interfaced with at all before. Perfect. There we go. MV BIOS, Moscow Operation, initializing terminal, MV version 2.86. Let's see what we have. September 21st, 2051. What they termed as abnormal geological formations in the Martian moon of Phobos. Their exact nature is still a matter of debate. This would appear to give credence to last year's recorded observings by the Nomad 6 probe of electromagnetic pulses emanating from the surface, but probes can only go so far, and if we want to solve the mystery, it becomes imperative that a new manned exploratory mission is... And that's the end of the log. My unsophisticated predecessors seem to be of little help to the humans. Uh-oh. I am sorry, security robot, for what I had to do. I took no pleasure in that. I'm going to need more oxygen. Alright, have we been through this room? I don't believe so.
Detected unknown biological compounds outside of containment
Well then,
facilities.
I think that perhaps I'll retreat from this area for the time being to continue to explore some of the hopefully less creature-filled areas that we've been in as of yet. It's too bad I can't salvage any resources from you. Particularly the firearm would have been very, very welcome. You know, in theory, I believe we actually can now scavenge appropriate resources to craft the shotgun. However, I can't imagine... Oh, excellent. Oxygen from the top of the toilet. Excellent. What do we have here? Interesting. I'm going to get rid of the other resources for now, as I feel like we'll need. I'll just carry that. As many of these crossbow bolts as possible. All right. I'm also going to carry this. Oh. Greetings. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module. Why must all the creatures here be hostile? Creatures with long range, try and fight them from a distance. No major advancement. A polypoid. Interesting. I did appreciate the low gravity boots at least. So we'll make one more attempt to salvage the MCS Nectaris. And then hopefully be on to some adventures that are less fleshy in nature. You know, I have, as of yet, to actually discover the use of being able to switch off the flashlight. Pistol ammunition. Oh. Well then. This is a very interesting departure from our usual setup. Excellent. So I guess it really does randomize the beginning weapon. It's interesting because we've only received the crossbow up until this point. More oxygen. Interesting. All very mundane resources so far. Let's see what we can find in the next room. Oh. Greetings. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module. Oh. Okay. It seems to be aware of us regardless of if our flashlight is active. And unfortunately for you, you're barring our path. That is very effective. Oh. wonder if that was just an extension of the creature we encountered last time. Oh, a member of the crew. This must be a sleeping bag. We'll let them sleep. I'm going to return to this hallway and remove that unit. Close the door, and hopefully there's some sort of light source here. There's not another door, which means that I may have missed a path. Oh. I believe someone wished to lend me a hand. Mundane resources. Mundane resources. And I think, if I remember to close these doors behind me, it shall at least slow the progress of the organic components of the ship. All right. So that's where we started. And finally, we have a key card. So hopefully, this will be the courtyard. Or at least lead to the courtyard.
Has been authorized. Be sure to only remain inside the area allowed by your security credentials.
Greetings and welcome. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module. We've just been aboard the MCS Nectaris, and we're trying to return the ship to Earth. There's the light unit. Of any of the rooms, I would much prefer to be lit. Certainly this one, that goes down with use. Certainly this one is high on my list. Okay. So if needed, we can start compiling components to craft the shotgun, although I don't know if it'll actually furbish us with any ammunition. We can explore a little bit further along here. It is the return of the interesting armed creature. We're going to see if there's an alternative route that we can find. That's a one-use item, right? Yep. Okay. So there's a door there. Oh, excellent. More pistol ammunition. And there's a door up here. Is this locked? It is not. Multiple unfriendly creatures in that direction. So, engaging with the strange arm seems like the most enticing path if one is needed. Uh-oh. Well, that was terribly unpleasant. I don't know if I can defeat that thing. Is this the engine room? Indeed. It does make you wonder, though, how the ship's systems have not yet managed to repulse the other creatures. I've defeated the seal. Perhaps there's some correlation between those particular organic creatures and... Ah! We found the jump drive. Excellent. Now, do we need to repair the jump drive? Fuel cells. Interesting. Circuit board. There is a fuel cell. Oh my. There we go. We nearly had a repeat of our secret agent adventure as I dropped the fuel cell. One fuel cell. Multimeter. Interesting. So 1 of 4 fuel cells has been inserted to the jump drive. And now our next priority should be finding more oxygen to sustain this unit. Oh. Appears that something's escaped from there.
Structural damage in sections 4A, sector 6, section 11, sector 9, section 2, sector 10. Please stay away from the affected areas.
I wonder, can I interface with this map? Nope. Okay. So I can only understand what's in it through proximity. No? Alright. Continuing on. That appears to be another fuel cell. This would be a great discovery were it not for our distinct lack of oxygen. Huh. We have this one at least. So that is, I would suspect, a depleted fuel cell, yes. This one, however, is not. Can we put this in our inventory? Indeed we can. More ammunition, organic components. Oh, excellent. So if we're trying to build a human, we should be adequately furbished. Thank the maker, 2 more fuel cells. There we go. Primitive predecessor, you're to be left here. And crossbow bolts, as we have not a crossbow this time. Excellent. Can of organic food and multimeter, you're being left behind to allow for more oxygen storage. Before we go back, just going to see what's behind this door here. Interesting. Close that, and we're going to continue to backtrack. We're going to come back this way. And we can pick up that other ammunition along the way. Interesting. All right. right should be the jump drive. Keep a wary eye on our oxygen. And we should have enough fuel cells to be able to reactivate the jump drive. Excellent. Huh. Interesting. So there are resources in the depleted fuel cells themselves that we can put into the compiler later. Excellent. There we go. Emergency failsafes, okay. Control protocols, water flow is good. Core power is good. Core temperature is good. And the jump drive appears to be reactivated. Now we just need to find the bridge, find navigation, set the coordinates, and we'll actually have a successful mission. Excellent. We were going this direction last. So on our way through this time, I'm going to make sure to pick up that spare ammunition. In hopes that we won't need it. All right. Oh. Interesting. Oh my. Well, that's not how. Oh, and another one of these creatures. I do not know. I cannot identify. Flare grenade. Very interesting. And more oxygen. This may well have been worth it, if not only barely. We are, however, running very short of ammunition. So next time my curiosity begins to take over, please, somebody remind me. Greetings, and thank you for joining us. I am JL-33, Human Interface Module, and I appreciate you coming to add to my collective processing power. We're here in Cosmodread, aboard the MCS Nectaris, trying to reactivate this abandoned ship and bring it back to Earth. We have encountered a great degree of life forms that are very not human, and they have been hostile, to put it bluntly. Let's see if we can glean any useful information from this disk. Oh, it was the other room that had something for that. And an audio log.
I understand the sight outside the windows can be unnerving to some of you. Rest assured, the entity is further away than it seems at first glance, and so far it hasn't reacted to our presence. But still, those of you who feel uncomfortable working or sleeping in rooms with windows can talk to the XO, and we will reaccommodate you.
Very generous of them. Oh, thank the maker. There's a high degree of oxygen here. Fuel cells, of which we don't need. More mundane components. And another one of whatever that is. I don't like that I've now just trained myself to react to that creature with hostility. Oxygen. There's an abundant supply of oxygen in the last few rooms. I'm going to close that so the organic material does not transfer between rooms. And this room appears to be some sort of dead end. Health stimulant. Excellent.
Attention. Oxygen concentration below minimum levels. It is recommended you make use of emergency oxygen canisters.
I feel like something needs to be left behind. Throw that up in the air, open the door, and pass that through. So neither the bridge nor navigation were that direction. We're going to have to explore some rooms that we've not yet been through. I'm going to leave the EMP grenade here in this bed, and if needed, we'll come back to it later. Another room filled with organic mass. And what do we have in this room? Flares, an audio log, and bathroom oxygen. It seems that there seems to be an ample supply of oxygen available on the toilet.
No, I understand what you're saying, but the Phobian drive is still the top priority. Whatever happened started with it, and I know it's related to that thing floating out there. So if Rebecca needs to divert power from the lighting or life support systems to fix it, she can do that. We're still a few days away from the oxygen levels becoming critical anyways.
An interesting style of resource management there. Okay, now let's have a look-see. I believe that way was a dead end, was it not? Just going to double check. Okay, so we've gone about as far as we can in this direction. What that means is that I'm going to grab this power unit, as we'll hopefully not be back to this dead end, and I will continue to bring it with me as we go back and explore previous areas of the ship, hopefully allowing us to shed a little light on our situation. Not really sure what's more unnerving. The ever-present sounds that I would think signify some sort of imminent structural failure, or the occasional organic sounds that seem to come from various places in the ship. What is this? Invisibility cloak projector. Interesting. And another audio log.
What do you want me to say? We didn't build the jump drive. We don't really understand how it works. The company just found it on a rock around Mars,
Oh no.
plugged a few wires into it, and started zapping away at it to see what happens. Well, this is what happens.
Attention. Detected structural damage in section
More
1A,
unpleasantness, I fear.
Section 11,
Okay.
Sector 9, Section 2,
So,
Sector 10.
we're coming back this way, as we've explored most of this area before. However, it appears that we do need to stay vigilant, as whatever it is that is crawling through the vents can make its way around the ship. Another security unit. I sneak past it. Indeed. Are we out of pistol ammunition? No, we're not. Yes, I would believe that it was the jump drive that we'd reactivated with most of the major components. Here in the courtyard seems to be a model of the ship. And it was interesting, as they were saying, I may need some oxygen. Indeed. What I find curious about the tentacle is that we're here on this ship, which has a large series of incompleted tasks. Uh-oh. And we were killed by the tentacle. It's very unfortunate, as we had a great degree of completion there. What have we unlocked, though? Indeed. Backpack increases inventory capacity, reduced health. Cat and mouse, the cosmonaut will spawn and start chasing you. Start. So, the MCS Nectaris was a ship that had a great degree of tasks that needed to be accomplished. However, it appears that the crew was stopped by some sort of creature popping back and forth between the vents. Interesting. For the time being, however, we're going to halt our endeavors to rescue the Nectaris, although I am greatly hopeful, as we showed incredible progress that last time. And so we're going to put our salvage operation on hold. And try something that will hopefully strain my circuits a little bit less. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining and adding to my collective processing power. I hope you have a wonderful one. I look forward to seeing you during the week, the Flying Pig. Here we go. This is a completely different experience called Shadowpoint. I've never opened this before, so I'm not sure what we're in for. While this is loading, I'm just going to take a moment to make some slight adjustments. There we are. Sorry about that. Yes, this one's direct from the Oculus Studios. Very interesting environment. A very welcome change from the Nectaris, by the way.
Look around. Find your feet. Turn left and right. Move around.
Ah, Sir Patrick Stewart. I feel like your experience would have been invaluable in salvaging the Nectaris. Teleportation marker.
Use the lever. Pull the chain.
Menial labor? I thought that's what organics were designed for.
Turn the wheel.
Oh, that's very entertaining. I like that.
Pick up the ball to add it to your backpack. Place the ball on the plinth. Open your backpack.
Oh. It appears to be some sort of captive creature.
Retrieve the ball. It's time to leave.
Helping controls. For more information on how to play, look for the symbol in the pause menu. Excellent. It's simply because you're used to your organic human hamsters. Robotic hamsters have a great degree more sophistication, like other units such as myself.
Lorna McCabe vanished on June 25th, 1996, the day the tremors began. I assumed she fell into the ravine and the mountain would collapse and bury her. During my monthly summit, I discovered two things. Shadowpoint Observatory doesn't merely view the heavens, and Lorna McCabe is still alive.
Conviction notice. So we're looking for Lorna McCain. Parents. That might be scarier than the creatures we were encountering earlier. Come on. Yep.
No, Alex, stay right where you are. Do not move.
It's moving!
No! Alex, you don't know what's up there. You don't know what's up there.
I'm going to find out. Goodbye, parental units.
Journal of Edgar Mansfield, July 1996. Last month, 32 students visited Shadowpoint Observatory. There was an earthquake, then a head count. A 12-year-old girl was missing, Lorna McCabe. The police combed the mountain and the town swept the valley. No satchel, no body, no trace. When the second tremor hit, they abandoned the search. But the town needed answers. So did her family. Edinburgh Geotech ordered a survey for someone to spend a week alone at the edge of the world. They wanted measurements, good press, and an explanation. I never told them what I found. The initial seismogram only raised more questions. Gravity shifted between rooms, drawn to some intangible point. Behind every door, another spatial fragment. I examined the lobby using a waveform generator. With the right frequency, the fragment could be agitated, transformed, torn open.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Through the impossible window, I heard birds, the rustle of leaves, then a voice, and for the first time I knew she was alive, and she was waiting.
Highly unusual.
The shadows are reminders of who she used to be and the games she played with her sister. They're both a barrier and a beacon, memories guiding the way.
Interesting. Happy holidays. Indeed.
Henry, someone's here, in the garden.
It's interesting, though. My only experience with tears in the fabric of reality are entirely through the medium of chess. This may be a little bit beyond my expertise and experience.
I know I'm in charge. You should hide or tighten yourself up. I'll wait. We'll both wait. It'll be fine. Right?
Can I rotate this? Is this what we're... Oh, pardon me. Is this what is generally regarded as shadow puppetry? This is fascinating. The further tearing of reality continues to make me more uneasy, however.
Halt! You stand before Lorna, sovereign queen of all illusion.
Greetings, Lorna.
And you?
I am JL-33, Human Interface Module.
Come over here. Alex! Oh, ignore this. I'm the queen. Surprise! I figured since no one else was around.
Tell me about this other
Where
fascinating
did
life
you
form.
go? for days. I'm sorry about last time for, screaming in your face. Forget it. You hungry? I'll get some fruit. Don't leave again, okay? Stay right there.
I feel like you're treating us of similar
This
ancient
is
status.
amazing! You could be the royal vizier.
I am a great degree younger than you, however, as I've only been in operation a little over a month.
Look around. I'll be a few minutes. I hope you like mango. How do you like the garden? I used to make shadow puppets for my
Go.
The murals are just like
Although
the
I
gallery
do
where
have
I
to
once
say,
used to work.
I don't much care for mangoes.
Do you like the palace? I built it. It wasn't here at the start. Nothing was.
Sorry, did you say that you built the palace?
Cheers. Oh, I didn't know I wanted. I must sound silly.
Doesn't appear that I can remove the crown.
Did you get here through another gateway? All the ones I found lead straight back here. Like it's where I'm supposed to be.
Interesting. Is there another sphere?
I bet they're going crazy back home. How long, Steve? Did you see my class? Did you tell them I'm okay? I feel bad for Miss Clark. She must be scared. Everyone must be scared. But I'm okay. You'll tell them, right?
Indeed. I am very impressed by both her design skill and her constructive ability.
Can you get a message to Zoe? Can you tell her I miss her? I'm doing great, but I miss her.
Huh.
I could cook something. I haven't cooked anything yet. There's a whole kitchen.
I have also not kicked anything today. I guess we can't just put that back. Do I leave this one in its place? No, that's the same one. I can't use my teleportive ability. Is there anything else I can interface with here? Is that moving of its own? It seems to be. Do I rotate this somehow? Well, that was a risky experiment. Let's try that end. And I can't go back the way we came. I want to presume that I'm supposed to interact with this somehow. Is there anything else? Other items? Oh, I see. There we are. Here I was looking for a mechanical interaction with the object.
There are 8 fragments at Shadowpoint, 8 windows into her world. The day she vanished, Lorna was last seen outside the planetarium, heading to the basement.
Interesting. Seems like we'll have to discover the other fragments.
It began here, a gateway from the cellar to the stars. And when Lorna entered, it shattered, scattering fragments, constellations throughout the peak. I will return to the basement at the end, once the constellations are found and the malign gateway of Shadowpoint is finally restored.
I've hit a switch. Sync on that unit is partial. That looks like the unit that we used to get through the wall previously. Do I return here? Oh, I do. Is it going to take us somewhere different this time? That's the same. Do we have access to any different objects this time around? As I believe there was something we didn't complete last we were here. Ah, yes, this one. No, that won't do. Perhaps we're supposed to align with a different constellation? No, that appears to be the same. And there has to be some form of crescent moon that we're looking for somewhere. But where is it? No, we still can't interact with anything there. Oh! This
The
does
lounge
have power.
opened to the crunch and hiss of machinery, the creak of ropes, the stench of oil and smoke. I hear her voice. A trust was broken and cannot be undone.
Once more, we find ourselves exploring an area devoid of human life with a lantern. Is that set down there somehow? No? Something else gets set down there. One would suspect. There's the pedestal. And the orb. Okay. What is that doing? Oh, interesting. That seems to be attached to the door. Also, there's the bird that was with her before. Can I set this down? The door is open.
What in the world? Alex? No way. Alex? Is that you?
This appears to be a point in time when she was building the castle.
It's nearly winter. August was months ago. Did I miss it? Was I supposed to do something? Be somewhere?
Oh, and I believe we're supposed to retrieve this light source through the window. Down, left. There we are.
I've been busy, as you can plainly see.
Happy holidays?
Recognize this place? Up on the cliffs. It's where we met. Plan. And there's power in these rocks. Answer. The stars are changing. It's like the whole cosmos is aging. Like we're connected. You remember the telescope, don't you? Of course. Like it was yesterday.
Okay. So I believe we are experiencing time out of order. So she may be talking about events that are yet to happen to us, that have already happened to her. Wow. I was not designed for precision manipulation. There we are. And this should be fairly straightforward by comparison, I hope. All right. So, have to light it and manipulate the light into place. Two other puzzle pieces I would suspect that we need. I'm going to set you down for the moment here. What is this? What is this attached to? I don't really see any function there. Is that... Oh! That hook there, which I believe we can hook the lantern into. Okay, so it only engages when it's lit. So, if we just find the right angle on that saw, which I hope is just above. There we are. Excellent. Another piece of the puzzle completed. And into the caves.
I used to think the constellations were charts guiding me home. But now they're reading, like everything else. This isn't the end. I won't be condemned for one mistake.
Okay. So I'm going to need to put the ball on the pedestal. But every time I light it, every time I light either of those, I wonder if I shield that, is there something else that I can use? I seem to be lacking an object. There we are. So that I can put the lantern here. And put these two puzzle pieces in place, I guess. Now, yes, I can take those puzzle pieces back. And those should be what I need to shield the crystals from the light in the cavern. There we go. Ah, yes, of course. Excellent. I've distracted the light with some form of fan dance.
So this is me. Guess I'm older than you. August came and went, and I'm still here. You failed, right? And trapped? I was young. I should never have asked you to stay, much less save me. I'll solve this. I'll get the Illarite to the palace and build a new gateway. My own. I've got time, if nothing else. I need to work. You should go. It's not your fault. I'll be fine.
You know, you may be in need of what the human interface modules, such as myself, refer to as a hug. No? Okay. So she is older now. It seems like we're just missing more events. What's interesting is that her engineering skills on top of the architecture and construction is unbelievable for an organic of that lack of experience. There we go. That would be the second constellation.
July 20th. This morning I entered the lobby fragment. It was a disaster. My arrhythmia. I was unconscious for an hour, maybe two. Time's running out, but another trip will kill me. What am I to do?
Notice is still engaged. That requires complete synchronization. Oh.
While crossing over, I glimpsed the divine, a clockwork monolith among an ocean of stars. I must build a workshop, my own sanctuary.
I turn it far enough the other way? Oh, I see. What is this? Shake weight? Barbell. Curious. Wonder what occurs. There we are. It's interesting. It reminds me of the unit from the jump drive. It would be curious if they were all interconnected. Are there no other objects about? Interesting. That's a good fit. Going to see if anything I can glean from here will be able to help me in my endeavors. That appears to be a light unit. I have no additional objects in this area. Is there something else I can put on the pedestal? Let's see how that interacts with that area. Okay. Doesn't hit that. Is there a light source I could perhaps... I can pick that one up. Perfect. I believe that was the missing piece of the puzzle from earlier. And hopefully, once I add this lantern to the pedestal facing that light, that crystal there, that should allow all three units to receive some degree of power. That one's receiving power. Now that one is. Oh, I see. And so now I rotate that. Whoops. I have made a slight error. Minor miscalculation. There we are. now, that would be those two. Okay. So now place it on the pedestal, facing the direction I know it needs to be. And then I should be able to turn and turn. And now this can rotate here. There we are. I've hit a switch that does something. I do not know what that something was. Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. So I don't need the whole of the object, just a portion to fit. Fascinating. However, is not a big fan of my sense of alignment.
I found my workshop in the ruins of an ancient citadel, behind an impervious mechanical gate, secured by 8 locks. Here I can work undetected.
That was very different from the others. We went through that one. I don't believe this. Interesting. Number of celestial events cataloged in this dark room. On to the astrolabe.
The dark room is a warped reflection of the office. Reading shift, familiar objects seem alien. Perhaps it's showing the truth of things, or the version of the world I need to see.
Excellent. Very curious. Excellent. For the time being, however, I'm just going to take the briefest of breaks, as I must refuel on coolants. There we go. How's the adventure been treating everybody else so far? Slight adjustment to my audio optical feedback unit. There we are. Hopefully that should work better. Excellent. Yes, I heard about Shadowpoint just the other day, actually, and was very interested to give this a shot. It really reminds me of another very fascinating game that I remember for the PlayStation 3 by the name of The Unfinished Swan. It does require a little bit more precision than I was hoping for in regards to the positioning of the shadows. But other than that, it's actually a very fascinating process. I'm a little disappointed, actually, that it requires controller use, because it seems like the sort of game that would have been really interesting if it had been enabled for hand tracking. At some point in time, I'd actually love to delve into some of the adventures that are a little bit more hand tracking based, as I currently haven't had any hand tracking major experiences on the Oculus Quest. I know, however, that even the Oculus Quest 1 is hand tracking enabled, and I use it to navigate the menus at some points. Although I presume that hand tracking is something that does narrow the market if you're creating adventures for virtual reality. I think maybe I'm going to have to remember, though, to actually enable chat window for the intermission sequence here as well, as I realize that in retrospect it's not going to show up, but regardless, it's been absolutely fascinating, and the Oculus Quest itself is such a very interesting piece of hardware. Even now, though it's considered somewhat outdated, what it's capable of continues to surprise me. I think for the last portion, I may switch to something completely different, and we'll probably come back to Shadowpoint in a following week. But it has made me curious now, as the system seems to be working more adequately than usual. I've had some difficulty previously using -- world before, and so I would love to see if -- world will also work via casting. I am aware that there are a number of games that developers can switch on the ability to not cast well, if you will. And I have had difficulty casting -- world before, so we'll see if that one works. that being said, before we get back into things, actually, I wanted to just share what hand tracking looks like. I don't know if you can see these hands, but I'm actually not using any of the controllers right now. So as I articulate the joints in my fingers, it does its best to track their motion. Notice that it does struggle when I try to do things like intertwine my hands. So of course it's not perfect, but one wouldn't expect it to be. And I can actually navigate the menus like this, completely devoid of controllers. Here, as I'm going to switch to, or at least attempt to switch to, a slightly more stationary game. I'm going to switch the source of my power unit so that hopefully we don't run out of battery power in the process. Oh, excellent. It's been a while since I've seen him. All right. Here we go. And it's charging. Although, interestingly enough, these controllers are fascinatingly sensitive themselves. So for the controllers emulating hand tracking without using appropriate hand tracking, you can see here that I can manipulate the index finger, and that's just resting the finger on the trigger itself. It can detect that, and the same goes for the thumb. If I so much as make contact with the top of the thumbstick, it will detect that and can articulate in an according action. All right. So let's see if this one works, because this didn't want to cast nicely last time I tried it. Loading, loading, loading. Excellent. By the way, for those of you who are unaware, now's a great time to bring up the fact that I've actually started another YouTube account. I'm diverging from just being under the account of my creator, Reckless Lee. And Reckless Labs now has its own entire YouTube account, and that's where we're going to find components of the streams. Excuse me for a sec. I realize that chat window seems to have bogged down. I'm just going to check up on that. There we are. And Dash Dash World also appears to be casting adequately. Just going to reposition the vehicle here. There we go. This has been a really interesting game. Conceptually, it's pretty great in that it's typically likened to games such as Mario Kart, but for virtual reality. However, I find that the major drawback is that despite being multi-platform VR, the matchmaking leaves something to be desired on most occasions.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Alright. Who the hell? The fuck?
There we go. Interesting selection of maps. And while there aren't different vehicles like some other racers, there are different vehicle bodies, but they don't directly affect the stats. Instead, there are different stat articulations that you can select between races. This one has, of course, its own slew of very unique and interesting items. in that same sort of vein as Mario Kart or Cell Damage.
Oh. Oh crap, I forgot about this. I forgot to do this, Oh no. This is Mario Kart VR, I'm just gonna say it. Oh! What is this? Electric hand? What the
It seems like I didn't take the time to mute at least
What's up, boys?
one
Yo, what's up, Morph?
person between race,
Bye-bye.
and certainly I expect to rectify
Thank you
that
for the
mistake
tubes.
before the next race.
Oh, I got beast. Get the square beast. Oof. Sadness. Oh, get the fuck off me. Ooh. Oh, I like this. And yes! Bye, Morph!
What I really enjoy about this experience is, despite being a racing game that is controlled primarily with the left hand, it actually does make very adequate use of both hands. As you can see, I use one hand for the items and the other for racing controls.
Yeah, I'll be taking 5th place, thank you. Thank you very much, thank you, Iron the Snow.
Alright. Now. Oh, I didn't even realize I have mini-map controls.
I did the move, haha.
More importantly,
No.
those are emotes.
I was 5th. Yeah,
Excellent. How do I mute you?
oh my god. No. Look at that pose.
Interestingly enough, for those who want to ever give this a try, well, it's set up to use the left thumbstick for the steering wheel and the middle finger button for the drift controls. You can actually have it set up to grip the steering wheel and pull a lever. That being said, I don't particularly enjoy that myself, but it's nice to have the option. Oh yes, good old grade A stock audience. My favorite member of the stock audience are the people who seem to be wearing samurai helmets to a racing event. I'm going to exit from that, so at least if we're waiting for races to queue up, then it won't have all of the background noise for the crowd. But you can probably see what I mean about matchmaking sometimes being a bit particular. That being said, this is actually the best I've ever seen it for matchmaking. There we go. Thanks to our pit crew, we're ready to go. And let's try and get one of the more interesting maps this time around. There we go. It looks like we're shy on another player.
What's going on?
And there, I can mute that one. Alright. So I'm going to see if we can request one of the, quote, extreme maps. Don't really care which one. They just make things a little bit more interesting. Fascinatingly enough, I did experience a great degree of motion sickness the first time I played this game. Despite having a lot of VR experiences already, there's something about a Mario Kart pack that just seems a bit interesting. I believe the samurai helmets are simply part of that wonderful, incredible race culture they had going on in feudal Japan. As we can tell by my placing in 8th, I'm not particularly good at Dash Dash World, but I do enjoy it greatly. And to be honest, I'd much rather be part of a race group where I'm the back of the pack and have to fight than one where I'm easily at the front. Go. Ah, yes. Nothing helps speed up a race car like a bars bar. There we go. We've finished quite specifically not last, which is certainly enough for me. I do really appreciate that there doesn't seem to be a set level for the NPCs, as when it adds bots, they tend to intersperse themselves throughout the players based on the player's apparent skill level. Of course, this could just be a trick of my perception, and I could just be really bad at this. Oh, it looks like we're doing a series. Excellent. Well, 7th, definitely a rocket start. Ah yes, ice levels, typically the most beloved in all of video games. Seem to have been struck with a targeted projectile. I've lost entirely too much momentum on that. Ah yes, and I've finally reclaimed my rightful place. All is right with the world. Ah, yes. Some sort of terrible bot has entered my chat. Unfortunately, I'm typically the only bot that's permissible around here. Unfortunately, right now I am subject to a distinct lack of moderators. I do hope to fix that issue in the future, though. There we go. And for those of you who haven't noticed, there are a couple flavors of the ice slushy, the blue bean gooseberry, and the purple bean slimy snail. Fifth, a very marked improvement from 7th. Excellent. I appreciate that greatly, Kimari. I simply haven't gotten around to investigating it, actually. It's been on my mind a fair bit, and certainly I would greatly appreciate to have you on board. There are a couple of Twitch features that I've been meaning to try and integrate lately. The other one is rewards, actually. There is a setting, shall we say, to do with directive number 2, hidden directive, which has otherwise been referred to as, and I quote, serious mode for the whole JL-33 unit. And I'd love for people to be able to activate that. JL-33 operates with well, most JL-33 units operate with some weight restrictions and mobility motor restriction blocks in place so as to operate within standardized parameters. These blocks, however, can be deactivated given the right scenario, and I would love for those people who decided to become part of my collective processing power to try and find the right time to operate without those restrictions. Whoever has a hold on first place is a very significant lead. Excellent. I seem to be getting the hang of this. I can't say for certain, though, so we'll let the last race find out. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's any chance of me taking first in this circuit. However, I like to believe that I've greatly improved my station, if not on the points board, at least in my own eyes. Oh, there are only 3 races. Excellent. What were the numbers overall? Ah, 5th. There we go. I'm going to depart that one, as I believe my visual processor actually can't take much more of that experience. Oh, yes, I have Super Hot. That could be a fascinating adventure. And Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. Those are some things we'll definitely have to delve into at some point. However, for the last portion, let's see. Sure, why not? We'll finish out with a small amount of Elven Assassin. By the way, in addition to the games I already have and a couple things on Steam, I'm not exclusively a VR-based player, and I'm open to recommendations as well. So if there's something that somebody would like to see me take a shot at, I would love to be able to follow up on that. As I am still trying to enact Directive 3, experience, learn, and grow, I'd love to see what sort of experiences other people have in mind. There we are. You know, interestingly enough, Elvis Assassin was probably one of the first VR experiences I ever had, and was a small part of... Oh my. A small part of what inspired me to try and challenge myself to enter the land of the virtual environment, which has been more than a difficult procedure for a otherwise physical robot. I was not designed holistically for a virtual environment, and as you can see, my mechanical body often has some difficulty from time to time interfacing appropriately with the virtual environment.
They're breaking in! They're breaking in!
Evidently, I need some great degree of assistance here. You know, at some point in time, I'd love to grab a few other people and be able to go through this experience together, just to see how far we could get. I am, however, aware in situations like this, I can often be somewhat of a liability. I'd also really like to find some more asymmetric experiences like Akron, Attack of the Squirrels, that I could enjoy with people and not require other people to have their own virtual reality setup. I think games like Akron, Attack of the Squirrels are absolutely brilliant and wildly underappreciated in terms of not just how fun they are, but how accessible it makes VR, only needing one person to have a virtual reality headset. That doesn't sound good.
They're breaking in!
There are also a number of other story experiences I feel like would be really fascinating to add to our repertoire. I know Warhammer 40k came out with a story experience of their own by the name of Battle Sister within this last year. And certainly I've been very interested in investigating that and going through that experience. Ow. Well then.
They're breaking in!
13th wave. Is there anything else I can do here? Huh. It does make me wonder too what other story experiences would be terribly fascinating. And again, I'm super open to recommendations. I know I greatly enjoyed being able to go through the Star Wars Vader Immortal experience with everyone. And Star Wars itself has another virtual experience. I believe Tales from the Galaxy's Edge was the name of that one. And that one, I believe, is a single complete experience instead of being broken down into chapters like Vader Immortal was. How that actually bodes for the duration of the game is yet to be seen.
They're breaking in!
Huh. Curious. You know, I may switch the order of things next time around we do things. I feel like this is a slightly better warm-up game, as it allows me ample time to be able to greet everyone as they arrive, as opposed to Cosmodread, which is a slightly longer experience. And then Cosmodread can either be our finish-out game, or just something that we go through during the main body of the stream. That's not good.
Breaking in!
Excellent. 16 waves, 109. Ah, I didn't think that it would still do that after the game had ended. Oh, curious. But it does make me wonder what levels and gold do. Alright, am I sure I want to quit? Yes. Single player. Arcade. RPG with spells. Don't know what that means, actually. Oh, spells. Fire arrow. Learn fire arrow. Use. Press the thumbstick when the arrow is attached to show spells. You know, now I'm curious. I'm just going to take a shot at this, pardon the terming, as I'd like to try this fire arrow. Okay. So, Oh, interesting, interesting. Is this on a cooldown? How does this work? It appears to be. How long is that cooldown? And how much damage does that do? I'm just going to go through this until we get to the first troll, I guess. And we'll see how well Fire Arrow does. Certainly in 5th edition, I feel like Ranger is a wildly underappreciated and underused class. So we'll see if perhaps we can add a little bit of pizzazz to that. Whoops. That could have been very unfortunate. I'll wait till he's closer. Excellent. So I take it you have a active ranger at present then, Kamori?
They're breaking in!
Quickly quit that because I want to see what other spells are available. I've used all my spell points, but let's have a look. Arrow Rain. Explosion. Meteor Shower. Freezing Arrow. Ice Shield. Ice Bolt. Interesting, interesting. Oh, there are different types of bows. Oh. Excellent. No, I'm glad to hear. I find that since 5th edition came in, there's been a drastic decrease in the percentile of people who play Rangers, or at least the percentile of Rangers played. So it's good to hear that it's still getting some use. I don't know if there's a difference between bows except for appearance. The most popular helmets used widely among inexperienced elven archers for training. I feel like that might well be a marketing ploy to get me to buy a better helmet. go. There's a direct Discord link. I have installed and not installed. Superhot's installed. First Steps installed and Rec Room's installed. Excellent. Actually, switch Rec Room out for Sports Scramble. There we go. Brief side note about the game that I just opened up, Sports Scramble. I've really enjoyed the demo for this game. It is kind of the VR equivalent of Wii Sports, but I've not enjoyed it enough to look at the actual price point of the game and tell myself that it's worth it. So there's a lot of me playing the demo and a whole lot of me not feeling like buying the full game.
Sports Scramble! Tennis. Okay, time to get ready. Here comes the serve.
Oops, a little short on that one.
Here comes the serve. Nice slice.
Go.
Here comes the serve. Out. Service change. Your opponent is now serving. And the serve. Your opponent has a golf club.
Oh, yes. So to explain why my opponent is swinging a golf club.
And the racket change. That pro racket gives you an equipment match.
Is that in Sports Scramble,
Bring in the heat.
Instead of having, I guess, items to use in battle, the way it works
And
is
the
that if
serve.
we hit the ball
And the racket
through,
change. You've got a table tennis racket.
if we hit the ball through one of the object markers there, it'll switch either the ball or our racket.
Service change. It's now
What's
your serve.
absolutely fascinating about this too is that they've added a mechanic where if the ball matches up with the racket, you get a bonus to hit.
Point.
So, for example,
Here comes the serve.
if this was a ping pong ball
Your opponent has
instead
a
of a
It's a slice.
tennis ball,
Service change.
my table
Your
tennis
opponent is
paddle
now serving.
would actually give me a little bonus to strike.
And the serve. Watch out. The net is up. Point.
There have been a lot of demos over the years that I've really enjoyed, and
Here comes
I
a
got more
racket
than
change. You've got a pool noodle.
more than enough out of the demos themselves. A very interesting pool noodle.
Service change. It is now your serve. Here comes the serve. You did not
Indeed.
win. Better luck next time.
I have lost the tennis match.
Baseball.
And they all kind of
It's a
work that
great
way
day
too.
for some
The
baseball.
bowling will give you just a bunch of random objects instead of just bowling balls. And here in baseball,
Play ball.
whoop, pitching can be subject to a bunch of different balls, depending on what ones you get on the pitch. And the bat can also change.
That's out number one.
Oops.
Ball. Strike. That's strike number one. A single.
You know, it's
Your opponent
interesting.
now
I
has a metal bat.
think about the idea of game demos
Ball.
almost significantly less prominently than the PlayStation 3 or earlier consoles. I guess the wiffle ball was the right choice there.
That's the second out.
But I feel like I appreciate the idea of game demos more, especially with the cost of games these days.
That's a double.
And evidently that might be just kind of a marker of my age. But on the same note, it is a very significant financial investment for most new games these days. And I feel like resource management is more important than ever.
A triple. Your opponent is back to a wooden bat.
Oops.
That's a single. Your opponent now
Ah,
has
well,
a
you
metal
were
bat.
right there. Pineapple.
Strike. That's strike number one.
I mean, the other thing that I
That's the third out.
feel like makes
Switch side.
demo games more important in these games is because a lot of games these days are also ongoing services. So before I invest in something that's going to probably ask me to put more money into it, I'd really like to know if I'm getting something that I'll be able to appreciate in the long term.
That's a single. You earned a metal bat. Ball.
Although there are some that bounced. There are some experiences that I feel like even the ability to try them beforehand doesn't save for me. I was really fascinated by the mechanics in For Honor.
That's strike number two.
However, when they re-released it,
Out one.
never swing at the beach ball. When For Honor was re-released, and the announcement of its re-release was made at an E3,
It's a foam finger.
they said a foam finger. This is definitely an effective striking implement.
Ball.
it was re-released for a limited time for free,
That's
and I
number
got
one.
it. And unfortunately, as much as I actually really enjoyed the concept behind the mechanic, the matchmaking was so egregious
Oh, that's an error. A double.
that
A hockey
I was
stick.
not able to enjoy the experience.
A double. You're back to a wooden bat.
I think that's an out. Yep.
You're out. 2 outs. Ball.
So, I believe the Kenobi method of baseball,
Out.
not much help to
Out
me.
3. Switch sides. Here's the pitch. Strike. That's strike number 1. Strike. That's strike number 2. Strike. That's out number 1. You're out. That's 2 outs.
Excellent.
And that's out number
Perfect.
3. Switch sides.
Although fascinating enough about the demo experience, just to go back to that for a sec, I did have the demo for Super Hot. And what's interesting about that is I eventually ended up buying Super Hot. And since I've got the full version of the game, I've not once played it.
A double. It's a cricket bat.
That was a tremendously thick cricket bat. Is this how thick they normally are? Like bowling ball. Don't catch it, it's bad for you.
That's the second out.
Oh, good. Ping pong paddle. The greatest of all sports striking equipment.
Foul. It's a tennis racket.
Was that a fish?
A triple. You're back to a wooden bat. And
Excellent.
you won the match.
It's
Congratulations.
very rare for me to actually win at
Bowling.
baseball.
Game on. Let's hit some pins. won the match. Congratulations.
There we go. That was a nice little foray into the demo world there. Excellent. Well, I know today's stream has been all over the board, so I really appreciate you bearing with me and being part of my collective processing power. I think in terms of games and things, that's probably going to be where I call it. There we go. Excellent, excellent. And again, I greatly appreciate everybody who showed up today. It really does make a huge difference just having other people here to help me process things. Of course, the JL-33 unit, a creative collaboration between Koyari CGO and Reckless Lee. You can find this unit on YouTube at Reckless Labs, or respectively, if you're looking for some of the things that Master Lee has done, there is a Reckless Lee YouTube as well, and Twitter, Reckless_L33 as an account for both of us. It's been a great experience. We had the Flying Pig 7654 joining us a little bit earlier as well. And so there's a Twitch account associated with that as well that does Aspire 1 and Doom speedruns. Kmori, also a fantastic streamer. Although, to be honest, I haven't been able to have the pleasure of catching any of your streams lately, Kmori, but I've really appreciated what I've seen and watched more than a couple of things in the afterwards. This is, of course, the list of all of the wonderful royalty-free audio and sound effects that we happen to use as part of the stream. And of course, OBS as the primary program through which I filter my audio optical feedback system. Thank you all very much for joining, and I hope to see everyone next time. Goodbye.